Welcome back to 120 Minutes. I'm Dave Holmes. I'm joined now by 120 Minutes favorite, Tori Amos.
Hi, Dave.
So great to have you here.
Thank you.
It's a real pleasure. To Venus and Back is just out. Kind of went on like a straight, it was supposed to be B-sides and rarities, etc. Became a big double album, studio album, live album. How did it like evolve?
Well, really, until the title was in place, the new songs didn't exist yet.
Okay.
And the truth is, I was really having this delicious bottle of Corton Charlemagne with my girlfriends in a hotel room at the end of the last tour.
Yeah.
And the title started to find its way that night.
Yeah.
And once the title was there for the live album and the B-sides, the songs all started to show up and say, "We're from Venus, sit down."
Yeah. How did the title come out? And what does it mean to you?
How did it come out?
Yeah. Yeah.
Through many glasses of that stuff. Yeah.
As all the best things do. What does it mean to you, to Venus and Back?
Well, I think, you know, mythologically, Venus represents to me the conscious and unconscious feminine. So both things have to exist, not just the things, not just the love space and all that kind of orbits that, but the darkest places when you're severed from your heart. That had to exist too. So the extremes exist on the record.
Okay. And you've got the orbiting and still orbiting.
Yes.
How does that sort of tie into it?
The live record and the studio record were created by the same team of people. So the musicians are the same.
Right.
The band that I played with in '98, this is the first thing we did in a studio together.
Yeah.
After living on a bus for 9 months and doing salsa up and down the bus for 9 months.
Yeah.
And maybe knowing a little too much about each other, but loving each other deeply.
Sure.
And the engineers recorded the live record and mixed it, and also the studio record.
Okay. How was it working with a touring band? Is it different from anything you've done before?
Sure.
More intimate?
Yeah, sure. Because when you're alone at the piano doing concert tours, a few things happen. You have to hold that stage by yourself. So you have to breathe, fart, and spit all at the same time and hit your notes. And there's no drummer to cover it.
Right. So on this one, you're like a team. Like,
well, at
like
least I have a second to spit out the water while they're filling a space. I think when you're alone, it is a really different performance. I shape it differently. And with a band, there really has to be a, I became more of an integrated player.
Yeah.
It was about playing with them. It's not about they're a backup band.
Right.
It's really about the piano sometimes would have to take the back seat because she wasn't as important as what was happening, say, the pattern of Matt, the drummer, and what was going on with John. Sometimes the booty would take over.
Yeah. Did you find that you lost some of the spontaneity having to share the stage? Couldn't like go off on your own, or do you work so well together that you can kind of work together?
Well, I think that when you are alone, sometimes you're making up stuff because you forget your own songs.
Yeah.
And because you don't have to be in time with anybody else, or your chord structure, the bass player doesn't, he's not there, so you don't have to sync up. Whereas when I'm with them, it's exciting to see if we can read each other's minds, and sometimes we fall on our face, but we give it a go.
But sometimes you don't.
Sometimes you don't.
And it's beautiful. So you've got, okay, so two disc to Venus and Back. One is a live album. How long have you been wanting to do a live album? Have your fans been clamoring, writing letters? Something you wanted to do?
Well, I think because there have been quite a lot of boots on the live shows over the years, and a lot of them are really bad quality, that I wanted to do something that was more representative of what it really is like.
Right.
That was the driving force.
So there you go. And how have the fans received it so far?
Well, everything seems fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You get a lot of like instant feedback, right? You've like your fans love you. Like, fans typically love, you know, they're the people that they're fans of, but they love you.
Yeah, but
Like, it's kicked up to like another level.
Well, but they're very, as you say, they're very vocal. I mean, they'll
Right.
come up to you and say, you know, I'm not crazy about this, or I'm not crazy about that. And
Yeah.
you're going, sometimes I've been up since 5:30 and you're hearing somebody's comment and you're like, you know, maybe this is none of my business.
Yeah.
Why don't you go share this with somebody else?
Yeah.
Because as a person, I don't gauge what I do based on what anybody thinks.
Right.
I can't do that.
Right.
I can't, as an artist. I've been a musician since I was 2.5, before I was a girl.
Yeah.
And I've never been held hostage, except once in my life,
Yeah.
to making music for some outer force
Right.
that thinks it knows what it's talking about.
What was that one time?
When I made Why Can't Tori
Why
Read?
Can't Tori Read?
Which
I worked
is
at a
fair
college
enough.
radio station at the time. I remember the cover.
Can't fit into that outfit anymore.
No?
Which is a shame.
That is a shame.
Yeah, that's a regret of mine.
Ah, well. But you gotta let it pass. It's okay.
Yeah, but you know, it was a part in my life where it's not that the record was horrible, because Joe Ciccarelli, the producer, taught me a lot of stuff. He was a good, really good guy.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah.
And he'd worked with Frank Zappa
Yeah.
and Pat Benatar in those years in the early 80s.
Yeah.
And he did teach me stuff as a producer, but what I didn't like is that I chose to listen to the record company and what their needs were at radio.
Right.
Instead of saying radio,
Yeah.
video,
Yeah.
what I'm going to do is be a musician and wake up in the morning and follow a tradition of musicians, whether anybody listens or not.
Yeah. And a fine decision. We've got plenty more to talk about.